Chapter 2 of the introductory case of Ace Attorney. April 20th, 12:14 p.m. District Court, Courtroom number 2. My favourite courtroom. Court will now reconvene. Wait, we're in courtroom number 2 now? Wait a minute. This isn't my favourite courtroom. Okay, favourite courtroom number 3. What the heck? As our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered. Yes, Your Honour. Well, she's regained consciousness. Perhaps you can hear her version of events again. That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued. You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne. Oh! Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defence would like to request that Mr. Orley take the stand. Very well, the witness will take the stand. Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession? Ellipses. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poorer loser. Yeah, not. Oh my god, this whole time! Name's Olga Orley, that's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh, really? Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian. And my last name sounds like, oh really? What? This whole time? I never would have guessed it. No, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Witness, you'll tell the court what you're really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see? Let me remind you that you're currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences. Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Ball Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress. So you're in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple. Elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out to search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. You swap the cards. Expose the cheater and losing on top of it. It would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Indeed. Any caught red-handed at cheating would cast a doubt on all his prior wins. A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh really, Orley? How droll. But it appears you made quite a mistake. A mistake? I agree the trap was elegant. It's what happened to that planted card. Hey, that's right! He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quick Fingers Orley. Oh, really? No, Orley. We're very different. The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick. Oh, you can have a cute evil mastermind. I'm living proof. I mean, wait, what? Cute? Who wants to be cute? Ugh. I'm not cute. I'm bad. Do you hear me? Bad. When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. Alright. I think she's finished being bad now. You can completely zone out. That's absolutely fine. I know you've been going through a lot. I hope you're doing okay. The best laid traps. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant. Oh, a surprisingly frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark. The trap was perfect, I tell you. Perfect. If that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up. Look who's talking! Well, the testimony for what it's worth is all yours, Mr. Justice. With witnesses like her, who needs criminals? With defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Alright. Cross-examination. I don't know what number we're up to, but hey, next cross-examination. That night they planted the card like I was supposed to. Alright, let's press. This planted card. Which card was it exactly? The trump card. The 5 of hearts. Let me guess, Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of doing, thereby ruining his legend. I slid it into Wright's pocket. When was this? Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Ball Club, we serve borscht. And suckers. Ram, you never to go there. Of course, the card was to make its grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him and press. So everything went according to plan. Exactly! The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud. There are worse things to be known as, I suppose. Tell us what happened with the search. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Hold it! The card disappeared. Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone! Without a trace. Poof! Zippo! We searched every nook and cranny. Even inside his cute little hat. No, not the cute little hat! But the card was nowhere to be found, is this correct? Never in my long storied career. Never has Quick Fingers Orley been so readily duped. Oh really? So what did happen to that 5 of hearts? No, it's Orley! God, get it right, Judge. Don't look at me, why don't you ask that cheating lion two-faced defendant? So the 5 of hearts is still missing in action. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. Hold it! Hold it! Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing. Which means he didn't cheat. Which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... Oh my god. We have an aura. I sense something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I pressure a little harder? Always. Miss Orley, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You. Me? Quick Fingers Orley? Hide something? The defense will refrain from racist accusations. I have one question for the witness then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? I vaguely, okay. I vaguely remember the mechanic, the equivalent of the Cyclock mechanic in this game is very, very different, and I don't remember necessarily liking it very much. So, and I think we're about to run into it. Let's see how it goes. I don't remember exactly what it is. But yeah, well, I think we're about to be introduced to it, aren't we? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw him right hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it. What's this weird vibe I'm getting? That witness, for instance, Miss Orley, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? Yeah, I just remembered after that inversion flash. Yeah, I didn't remember until now. Well, we'll see how it goes. I remember it just being pretty frustrating. Yes, okay. So, Apollo's power is all about spotting tells and, body language. So I think you've got to, spot certain weird, nervous actions. The sensation is coming into focus. One of the freaks who liked Apollo's powers? Oh my god. What is wrong with you? No. I just remember it being very ambiguous as to what you're actually looking for. But hey, we've got a twitch. It's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before. You want me to press R to perceive? Is that what we're saying here? Do you want me to press R? That perceive button in the bottom right corner is glowing. Do you want me to press R? Do you want me to press R, game? You're not going to tell me to press R, but you're just going to like make that keep glowing at me? Okay, I'm going to press R now. I'm going to make you happy, game, but really you should just tell me to press R, and I will press R, right? Okay, let's press R. Gotcha! Miss Orley, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. Stella's playing... Twitch plays Pokemon right now. Twitch plays Ace Attorney. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of the testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory as she touches her neck. I'm sure of it. A memory? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about? This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us? Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the moment of the crime. So what would remind her most of the moment of the crime? Miss Orley, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck is this. Huh. Okay. So, all right. Here's what I think. I think the whole neck thing, to me, screams that they're talking about the locket, maybe. So maybe the locket was of value to her, but then they are saying the weapon that left an inerasable impression on your neck. And the only thing that could even possibly slightly be described as a weapon would be the deadly bottle. Yeah, somehow I don't think it's going to be that. Like, was she hit with the bottle? Did Shady Smith, like, hit her with the bottle on the neck? Although Wright's fingerprints are on the bottle. I feel like the fact that, like, the weapon, the word weapon is the only thing. Well, I would go for the locket. But given that the word weapon is there, I'm gonna go for the bottle. So let's do that. I think that was wrong. Wait, maybe? No, usually when it's right, the music stops immediately, but in this one case, it went on a little bit. Interesting. I guess maybe because it wasn't a cross-examination. Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle? The murder weapon. Oh, because the bottle has a neck. Maybe. Is that really what they're going for here? Is that the logical connection we're supposed to make? That, like, oh, the tell involves the neck, therefore the bottle has the neck. And... something doesn't fit. If you're only the witness of the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you're in pain? What's he talking about now? It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you. This sounds really mean to say, but this is the combination of words that's about to come out of my mouth. I hope she was hit by the bottle, and that there's actually a reason for it. Just purely from a logic point of view, rather than from a, like, I hope people get hit by bottles point of view. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-file conjecture! The witnesses' habits, they're completely irrelevant. Justice, I'll admit, I've been confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later. Just trust me, there's our only chance to break her. Miss Orley, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Yes, I am knowing nothing. Ellipses, ellipses, ellipses. Oh, we know you're not Russian. Break her like her neck. The witness will testify, please. No. Fine. He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got there. Let's go ahead and press. I feel like I want to present the cell phone to that, but we'll see what happens. You seem uneasy. You try standing up here. Her eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in a daze at that table, until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is... fine! It's all fine! I think it's flawed because we know that he called that Phoenix is the one that called the cops, right? Is basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence. What's that? Well... Show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence you claim contradicts the testimony. She didn't let him out of the sight till the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. Surely that is this. Used by the defendant to notify the police on the restaurant's first floor. What else could it be? I guess the only other thing it could be would be this photo because the locket's missing. I don't think it could be anything else, right? I think it's most likely the cell phone. Let's go with the cell phone. Miss Orley, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Boston Bowl Club. Ack! So explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. I mean, she didn't say she didn't leave the room, but whatever. Yeah, the upscaled art is in a lot of cases very good, but not when Edgeworth is looking directly forward. There's like one sprite in the original trilogy where Edgeworth is like facing the camera full on, and his face looks weird. But other than that, the art is really good. The man who picked up a bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant. I can't remember which case it's even in. Oh god, what's going on? Oh, we're getting the true version of events. Or it gives you a stare down. I think so, yeah. But it's just, it's a very strange face. You dirty cheat! Check his pockets now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Just then, Smith grabbed the ball from next to right. And he hit me! You! Some master of cheating you turned out to be. Eek! When I came to, the victim was already dead, is that it? That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure. Ellipses. Ellipses. And third ellipses. There we go. Ellipses always seems to come in threes. Ones or threes. Never in twos. Oh, where does this leave us? Madness! This is madness! I'm dreaming! It must have been me who was hit with a bottle and now imagining all of this! It appears our prosecution is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Ellipses. Mr. Gavin, sir. I believe that as a defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Orley a big fat liar. What? 3 were in that room the night of the murder. The defendant, the victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder. What? I'm no killer! It's a trap! Someone's trying to frame me! Quick, get the Russian outfit back on. We need the sympathy vote. What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process. Mr. Wright! Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right, like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. So I wonder, like, that decision we made before about, like, who swaps the cards. I wonder if, like, it would have also been... It would also worked if we'd said it was Olga. Maybe. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colours of card were being used. And we still have this problem of who actually swapped the cards. A 4th person. This theory again! Your 4th person doesn't exist! Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal. Phoenix, you... you have been in enough Ace Attorney games at this point to know that, like... That's not true. Liars... People definitely lied in court. And occasionally gotten away with it. Everything has to be redone, either way. The real criminal? And we're in luck. The clues to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. I'm right at the beginning of the trial, no less. What? Apollo. Perhaps you know what I'm talking about. Sorry. Remember what I said? The 4th person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the colour on the backs of the cards. Right, but how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet there is one person here in our court who thought those cards were blue. I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, you can figure out who it was. Who was it that gave us the rundown at the very beginning? It's not me, I swear! Is it Christoph? Who is this 4th person? Why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? It's gotta be Christoph, right? He's the one that, like, introduced the case at the very beginning. And said they were blue. I mean, he is really the only person it could be. Like, it's not gonna be Payne. Is this all to get back at, like, Gavin? Can I like go back in the history that far? Can I go all the way back? No. That's a shame. Imagine if it was Payne though. Finally. Finally we get to declare Payne guilty rather than just being annoying. Alright. First off, Gavin. As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right! Christoph Gavin, you were the 4th person that night. But of course Mr. Gavin knows the colour of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which the cards are blue. The ones on the floor or on the table. It's very sharp hair. I mean, you wouldn't even be able to see the ones on the table anyway. Oh, I guess you could, like, from the deck. But look! You can see the colours in this photo! But when he said the cards were blue, it was well before this evidence came to light. It is true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game, in its purest sense. A competition, Your Honor. Oh, so he'd seen that photo before. A test of wits. A silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flame. Know its final outcome. Good night, Danger! Have a good rest of your evening. Well, Christoph. Ellipses. Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin, is something the matter?
Huh? No, nothing. Excuse me. It was just so sudden. Right. You aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph. You know, even I'd never take a joke this far. This has become beyond ridiculous! Beyond dumb! This is insanity! The defendant's accusing his own defense attorney of murder! I assure you I'm quite sane. What possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim? I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith, either. Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met! Well, what if they have? Huh? There is a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
Is this the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court. The defense would like to request no such thing. Mr. Gavin? Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before that game of poker be related? Yeah, his settings are always like very inconsistent in how they allow testimonies and stuff, but yeah, there we go. Whatever it needs to do for the case, I guess.
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss Orley...
Am I to assume you'll speak for Mr. Justice in this? He is the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you.
Oh, okay.
Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
Absolutely. I love hearing testimony. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along. And I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. And to Justice, you have betrayed me, your teacher. I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin, this isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth! Ellipses.
Very well, the defendant. Mr. Wright will take the stand, please.
Are we going to actually get the truth, or is he going to like keep playing games? Appetite before murder. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead and blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin.
Mr. Gavin! You were at the Borscht Ball Club the night of the murder?
I downed with him rather frequently. And he talks to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder? Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. Anyone know a good lawyer? A good, like, attorney? Maybe some kind of ace attorney or anything? I don't know. You were playing this all along, weren't you, right? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favour when we took on your defence. It appears that I was wrong.
Very well, the defence may cross-examine the witness.
Justice.
Sir.
He's lying and you're going to expose him.
Understood, sir.
Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright, this can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? This is definitely going places, like... yeah, this is a very involved introductory case. Appetite before murder. That evening, Christoph and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. You had dinner with Mr. Gavin? Yes, he dines with me at the Borscht Ball Club quite frequently. We're enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual. Usual? I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see. Where Mr. Smith was sitting.
So the plates and such on the table from your dinner. Indeed, the remnants of my meal with Christoph. We dined for 2 hours, and then Christoph left. After that... Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Christoph left.
Hold it!
Hold it? 5 minutes! So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time? That would have been a fateful encounter to be sure. Objection! Hee. Oh, Mr. Wright! What was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met. I believe I did say that. Hero's all nervous about this beating. And now we hear they just passed in the hall? That does seem a little weak as a pretense for murder. Oh, it would be if that were all that really happened. Come on, Mr. Wright. What are you hiding this time? When the trap failed, Smith hit the witness.
Hold it!
Hold it? About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga orally mentioned. The plan was simple, elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. Yeah, this was literally what we've literally just talked about. Gonna deal 580 during the game. Call out Wright the cheater. We're going through all this again. Just like that legend we dashed to pieces. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. A quirk? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted! I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card. Before the game.
Disposed? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. An empty bottle of grape juice! The murder weapon? Has it been in there the whole time? I rolled it up and shoved it in. The coloured glass makes it hard to see. And they didn't even think to open the bottle, like, when they were inspecting the evidence. They didn't, like, even shake it and hear, like, oh, there's like a piece of paper rattling around in there. Huh, I wonder what that is.
That sounds like terrific drama.
A card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. The police miss it in there. To be fair, the police are not the most competent people in these games.
Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3 approves this battle of wits. Please revise your testimony with this new information.
It must be Gumshoe. I discovered the trap. Okay. Let's continue pressing. Find the bottle. I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew what was coming.
So you struck first. I like that.
I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me. At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in your pocket, they don't. Yeah, Phoenix's, like, skill points are 90% in just getting lucky. You made the call to police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct? Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout. Was anyone else on the first floor at that time? Not a soul. It was the middle of the night, after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. I hope Gumshoe's in this game. I can't remember. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. And when you returned, the victim was already... dead, yes. I'll admit I was a little startled when I walked in.
A little?
He was bleeding from his forehead, after all. I guess I'd be startled too if I walked on a scene like that. That's when I made another phone call to Defense Attorney Gavin. Could you explain why you called Mr. Gavin? I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair, and I figured Christoph's law officers would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Glad to hear you intend to pay. I'll pay in full, Christoph. It was I who got you involved after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high. Just a little bit. Is this the truth that Mr. Wright was talking about? Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him now. Alright. Well, I feel like we need to present the murder weapon on the thing that says there's a thing in the murder weapon. Present. Because it doesn't say it was empty in there. Can we have a look at it? No, it is definitely empty. It is definitely, like, there is definitely no card in there. I don't care about the coloured glass. There is no card to be seen. That bottle is completely and absolutely empty. Objection! Be objected. Mr. Hyde, if I may. Yes? I've examined the bottle and I don't see any card in here. Huh? No.
What, Mr. Wright? Surely ellipses isn't all you have to say for yourself?
I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however. Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out? Oh, and a sixth person could have helped.
Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client.
My apologies, Your Honour. I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing! So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? I mean, I gotta be honest, like, a wine bottle does not exactly strike me as a particularly obvious hiding place for a card. Surely there were, like, more hiding places for the card in the, like, in the area. Where's that picture of it? Like, surely it has got to be somewhere conspicuous. And are we saying there was only one wine bottle as well? I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Push him harder, Justice. Break him! Break him! Break Phoenix Wright! Why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? So... I guess we'll press this statement again. Why in the bottle? I perceive my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to try. Yeah, okay. We've already been through that. Has anything changed? I'm gonna repress everything, but I feel like it wants me to present something at this point, and I don't know what to present. There's no like 5 of diamonds on any of these, is there? Is it just the card that's like at the top of the deck? Although to get it in the look, okay. Look at the size of those cards. Actually no. Look at the scale. What is the scale going on here? Look at the size of those cards compared with the neck of that bottle. How would you even roll up one of those cards to the point of being able to fit in that bottle? That seems like... That bottle is either incredibly thin or those cards are jumbo-sized. Alright, I'm gonna press everything just in case anything has changed. But I feel like it probably hasn't. Don't use your logic. I'm not using logic, I'm using my eyes. Like... It would actually like curled up so tight. Alright, so that's not changed. Let's call the police. Has this changed at all? That's not changed. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. Wait, wasn't he hit in the back of the head? Single word to forehead. Oh no, that is right. Although, hat removed during investigation, so you wouldn't have seen the forehead. Wait, this is wrong. Blood streaming from a cut on his forehead, but he would not have been able to see the forehead. And the blood's only going backwards. Like, it's not coming forward. I think this is a contradiction.
Objection!
That's not a contradiction. Okay. Oh no, we're gonna lose some health. We're getting penalized. No! Alright, let's press the statement again. We returned the victim was already dead, yes. Could we... Maybe I just presented the wrong thing. Maybe this is what I'm actually supposed to present? Because we can't see any blood or the forehead. Maybe I was supposed to present this, not the one without the hat.
Objection!
Damn it! I got the right logic but presented the wrong evidence! No! Mr. Wright, if I may. I'm surprised he didn't accept that, actually. Take a look at this photograph of this crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. Justice! Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it.
Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court?
I forgot to mention something. I have X-ray vision. I was the one who put that hat on his head. Of course.
You put the hat on the dead man's head?
He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright. Just like in this photograph.
And?
I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head. Why'd you do a thing like that? All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. Miss Ollie didn't see it. It being the victim's head. I'd think not, she was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. Oh, it's riddled with lies. I begin to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Christoph. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never. Don't be misled. I haven't sold a single lie here. Hey! When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well. What was the reason? It wouldn't have been to cover the head. That reason is right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with Defense Attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I record our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Was he like hiding something from Gavin, who then went to the scene? Or then was at the scene? Christoph, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him. Hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china pate? It wasn't you, was it? Mate, please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands, should it come to that. Cracked his bone china pate. Is it that just referring to his baldness? I mean, I guess if they, like, passed in the corridor... Bone china plates? Bone apple tea? A kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny. And not plate, but pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead. Oh, but he was wearing the hat the whole time before. So the only time that he could have possibly seen the baldness would have been if he committed the murder. I think that's what we're going for. Okay.
The court appreciates the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead.
Wait a second. Something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Ball Club? Oh, certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china paint?
Oh, that's right.
Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Ellipses. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realised exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? Ellipses. So this is your reason. The reason why you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it? Phoenix, right?
Order! I will have order!
Mr. Payne, I think, like, okay. I think I am... This is awakening a bit of a memory of how I remember this game in my head. And I think I'm remembering not particularly liking this first case for one specific reason, and that being how it just kind of makes Apollo Justice, like, in his very first introductory case, a bit of just like an NPC that's just kind of there. I feel like Phoenix is really like owning this trial, and you know, to some extent, that's always been the case in the introductory ones. But like, I don't know, it feels like it's just Phoenix just kind of taking the spotlight a little bit too much here. But it's working.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. I am prepared to hear defense attorney Gavin's testimony.
As the prosecutor,
Very well, we'll break for 10 minutes. After which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination.
Are we going into 3 parts?
Are we all clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well, this will be the final recess for the day.
I guess we are going into 3 parts, huh? April 20th, 2:32 PM, District Court's Defendant Lobby number 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought today would turn out like this? May I? Huh? What? Hello, sir. Please pick a card. It's Phoenix's daughter. What's all this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. So this is the 5 of diamonds, huh? Oh, it's not in the court record yet. Hold on. The card you've chosen is magical. Use it wisely and the game is yours. That's all. Oh no, it's the Ace of Spades. With a single bloodstain. Where do I remember that card from? So was that on the table? The Ace of Spades was definitely on the table, right? And it did not have a bloodstain on it. And presumably it is the same one, because this is also the red deck. So, interesting. Neat. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. Oh, it's the different ace. This is the duplicate ace. I see. It's 5 aces in all. It is true, I've seen it. The 5th ace. That was cheating, I swear to you. A missing 5th ace. Wait, there's blotch of red. Is this blood? Oh my god, blood in a murder scene? No! You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth. I mean, to be fair, like, Apollo does get a decent chance to prove himself, I guess. But it just feels like everything's just going to be manipulated by Phoenix a little bit. By the way, I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl. I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. Except she was wearing blue, not red. Ah, it's all foreshadowing. Bloody ace added to the court record. Alright, let's have a look at that bloody ace. April 20th, 22:45 PM, District Court, Courtroom number 2. We didn't go to a save screen, so we won't take a break, but... let's have a look at that bloody ace. Bloody ace! What can we say about this? So this is a red card. No clues here. There's a big clue here, the fact that this card is red, actually. Probably. Also, I didn't realize that Capcom Osaka, Japan, were making playing cards in 2007. 2007? MMVII? Yeah, it is. A single drop of blood marks the front of the card. Neat.
Court will now reconvene. Defense attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, the witness state his name and occupation. Is this fast necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone on in this courtroom.
True. Remember that time where we cross-examined a parrot? Good times. Fine, I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat?
By secret, I'm guessing it means the fact that Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in it.
Objection!
Hey, Phoenix is on the... Phoenix is just like... You know what? I might be the defendant, but I'm just going to wander around the courtroom. I'm just on the defensive side now, you know? I'm just going to sit here behind this bench. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright! What do you think you're doing, Wright? That's my place! Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit. Oh yeah, the time we cross-examined a walkie-talkie as well. Yeah. There have definitely been some weird things happening in that courtroom, huh?
Oh!
When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, he would have had to be there in the hideout. At the time of the crime. In other words, I must be the real killer, is what you're trying to say. Ellipses. Not bad, Apollo.
Mr. Gavin?
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court. Time for my evil ass mastermind arc! Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright.
Ellipses!
Yet I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth of what happened that night.
Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how you involved in the events of that fateful night?
Oh yeah, we got the glasses push. Single finger. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead as he appeared in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright, holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, and so I left. That's when the call came from Wright. So, you witnessed the murder? For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed.
Mr. Gavin, may I remind you that you're on Mr. Wright's defense team? Your testimony is clearly disadvantageous to your client.
What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. Ellipses. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell him you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Mr. Wright? You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo? Get it? Window of opportunity? I'm Phoenix Wright. I know how to make a pun. Very good. Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Cross-examination! The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. Hold it! That man? I mean, Mr. Smith? He was different from the other customers. His aura, shall we say. I knew he was a serious poker player, but it was more than that. So then you do the true nature of your client's job? Of course, but I also knew he wasn't engaged in gambling. Which would be illegal. Nobody would do anything illegal in this game. It makes sense that he'd know. They were friends after all. Worried for my friend, I returned to the club. You see, I feared this Mr. Smith might be someone coming to settle an old score.
I see. What happened then?
I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window to the hideouts. Oh, gotta press that. Gotta press that. The little window. You mean the one used to keep watch up at the stairs? There's gonna be some reason that window was blocked, right? A relic of the ancient past. The black marketeer has used it. Oh, there's gonna be something that like blocked his view from that window. But I think we've seen the photo and there wasn't anything obviously like that. Yeah, we'll see. Why'd you go through the trouble of peeking through the window? Wouldn't it have been easier to just open the door and go in the room? Ellipses. I didn't want to upset Wright, you see. Upset Mr. Wright? Yes, what if my fears have been unfounded? I'd be walking in on their match. Bad form, to say the least. So far, everything you say makes sense. It must have been right after the murder took place. Hold it! How'd you know it was right after the murder? Really, no need to shout justice. Ugh! I was just getting to that part of my testimony. There he is, the coolest defense in the West we know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you changed too, right? But you haven't. You know that overbearing personality of yours? With friends like these, who needs enemies? The victim was dead as he appears in this photo. Alright, let's press. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene? Precisely, you see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead. No, because the hat was removed during the investigation. Wait, no, because Phoenix put it back on the... Phoenix is saying he's put it back on his head. So, if we believe this version of events, the hat fell off, Phoenix put it back on, and then went up the stairs to call the police. Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat. Yeah, okay. Can you describe the scene of the crime for us? I'm gonna head after the phone call. Okay. So it was just off for that period of time. Okay. A bald-haired and unconscious girl and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. Those were only 3 at the scene of the crime? Yes, as far as I saw at least. Now we're back where we started! The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright! Who else could it have been? But why did you talk to the police? 2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. And second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. Objection! There's someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I presume. Christoph just wants to be a good friend. I know. Everyone's nice and wholesome here in this courtroom. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap the cards in the victim's hand? Ellipses. Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? How can I show something I can't find myself? The card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. I feel like the card was swapped out because it's got the blood stain on it. But what would that mean? Can you point to a reason? Okay. Let's think this through. So the card has a blood stain on it, a single drop of blood. Or possibly, is that definitely blood? Wait, move the thing. A single drop of blood. Okay, it's definitely blood. It's not like wine or anything. That's definitely blood. And it was on the card that was in front of the defendant. So that to me implies that, like... Well, there's no other blood around at all. Which seems super weirdly suspicious, because the blood only flows backwards, which means that he had his head backwards. So where in this is there a chance for like a single drop of blood to go forwards? I guess that's the question. Unless like, if he like was slumped forward, would his head like line up directly with that card? Did he like hit that card with his head? Although it does look like... I don't know, it's a very circular bloodstain, so it's like it's dropped very, like, straight onto it. We're doing some, like, bloodstain analysis now. Yeah, it's more of a drop rather than a smudge. And, like, it's not like a spray, it's like a single actual drop. So did this, like, fall on the floor, maybe? And was that on the floor behind him? Like, in the struggle, did one of the cards fall down there? It doesn't look like there's any cards down there, though. I'm going to say not yet. We're going to keep pressing. Try not ever. I'm willing to wait for as long as it takes. Great! Well, what they say, we got plenty of time. Don't forget, you already know the answer. You just don't realize it yet. Oh, okay. I didn't realize I knew the answer. Huh. Amazing. I'm very smart, apparently. I sensed this was not the best place to be at the time, and so I left. Wouldn't it have been better to wait for the police to arrive? Remember though, by that time I was already Wright's defense attorney. It wouldn't do for me to become part of the investigation. That makes sense. Or does it? I'm confused. What happened next? That's when the call came from Wright. Like, I feel like it wants me to present the card. But I don't have it, like, super straight in my head as to exactly why. Where were you when the phone call came? I had already left for the ball club by that time. On the phone, he asked me to defend him. Naturally, I was surprised. I accepted, however. I couldn't abandon him. So kind of you. I mean, although, as a witness, surely that is, like... not something a lawyer should do. Surely there's like some conflict of interest there. Just saying. So far, everything jives with Mr. Wright's testimony. It's gonna be a problem for you to cross-examine your own boss. Yeah, they're just really good friends. Who was it that taught me never to pull punches in cross-examination? It was you, Mr. Gavin. I learned it from watching you. Okay. So, it clearly... it clearly wants us to present the card, and I think it was when we pressed this, right? what possible reason would it be? Let's show evidence. So they swapped the card out to prevent this bloodstain from being seen. So this bloodstain is super important. If it is showing you the reason why a card was swapped out.
Then go ahead and point out your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace?
Let's present this. My reason is this. Is that an ace?
Why? Why, it's got blood on it! Right next to the spade!
What? This is insane! Why was I told about this? Why?
Could this be the missing 5th ace?
Inconceivable. How could you? Oh no, his glasses are fogged up. That's a true sign. Oh no, the edge of his mouth is twitching. Look at that. Twitch, 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 twitch. Twitch, twitch. Twitch. Twitch, twitch, twitch. What are you doing with this card? Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Bowl Club that night after the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade after all.
Objection!
No! Impossible! Unacceptable! Twitch! Twitch, twitch, twitch! Twitch, twitch! Twitch, it's always very consistent, like 2-1-3 with the twitches. It's great. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud! A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Ellipses! Allow me to elaborate. What if the trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime.
Where are you going with this?
Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor, and a trickle of blood ran from his forehead down the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards? I suppose the killer then took the card to hide the blood.
Objection!
Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. We can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. And believe me, we will. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You want to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see.
Objection!
This is baseless conjecture! Baseless!
Objection!
Has Apollo figured it out? Oh, I assure you, it's quite based. So based. Oh my god. What? It's amazing, really. How a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo? Yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head. Wait, was that our first Phoenix Wright objection? No, it wasn't. We had other Phoenix Wright things. Oh, we're going 3D! Look at this! Look at the budget! We got some 3D. Some 3 dimensions. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. So this is going to be about perspective. So he would have surely been able to see the forehead from the window. What wouldn't he have been able to see from the window is the question. And before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given that there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card? That's surely got to be the victim. Because the blood is dripping backwards. And the cards were on the table. So I think that's got to be the victim. Oh, no, not down there. Is it the victim's position that's the problem?
I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice.
The victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You think any blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him?
Ah!
Take a look at the photo again. If you bled in this position, the blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards.
Why, that's right! So what does this mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs. Oh. Well, that's an important detail. Wait, is that obvious from looking at the chairs? That's... I mean, I guess maybe that's obvious from looking at the chairs. Like, if you really look at the chairs. Oh, that's important. Okay, so not only like he's turned around, and so this has been set up like this, and if the drop of blood had been there, they'd know that like the chair had been turned around after the murder. Swivel chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. Whoa, I can, wait, hold on, oh my god, hold on, wait. Okay, I need to quickly show how janky this is. Hold on, capture cursor. Right, can you see my cursor? No, wait. Can you see my cursor now? No, you can't. Oh yeah, you can, there we go, alright. You can see my cursor here? Like, this is so janky, because I can literally just drag that, like, hand around like this. That's so dumb. Why is it like this? Why is the hand not just my cursor? Why? So wait, if I like put it over the person, just like drag left. Wait, if I like click, it goes over to me. Oh, it's so weird. Like clearly this is very touchscreen inspired, but apart from the fact that like if I click, surely it should go to me. Wait, how do I even... Am I pointing out? Want me to recreate the crime scene? I figured I was supposed to like drag the chair around and it'd like swivel, but do I just need to point out what's different? I'm so confused. Hold on, let me remove my cursor again. Okay, I guess we'll point out. There. I pointed out. It's the future.
The chair was facing the other way!
It would have to be. Oh my god, the angles! They're going all in on this 3D gimmick. This is the future. The victim's chair was facing away from the table.
When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing?
When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo. That would mean the killer turned the chair back around. Ellipses. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We now know the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction. Again? Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim was facing away? I guess the killer, because he has to be killed from behind. He was killed from like over this way. So that's going to have to be the killer.
Take that!
Take that! The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where his indicator currently is? I think it'd be quite hard, yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense! Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall? In the middle of a game? I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. It's a boomerang bottle. Yeah, I just got a really good bank shot off the wall. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look again at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? I mean, literally nowhere. Try marking it on the diagram. What? But there's no room to put a mark where the killer should be. Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. Is there some way that he, like, rigged up something to hit him? That's the other thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else. Like, I want to have a look at this scene of the crime again. Like, there's no way that he, like... Did he, like, open the window and throw the bottle at him or something? Or was he, like, hiding in... He could have hidden in this cabinet, but there's one on the right that we've not seen. I don't know. This is so silly. Alright. Where would the killer have to be standing to strike our victim from the front? Or maybe... Wait, maybe... No! No! He was here, which means that this furniture was in front of the window. Because that would have been moved out of the way? The killer has to be standing, well, here. You get points for flair, but that's about all you get. I thought I wanted something there too. I had need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Or are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha! Actually, that's also a possibility. I mean... We're playing sliding block puzzles now. Oh no. Every game turns into sliding block puzzles with me. It's so weird. It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that, at the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there!
What's this now?
That's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately.
Bailiff, send the team to the crime scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard.
Ah, Your Honor.
What?
There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff.
Oh, yes. I see.
Is there like a secret passage there or something? Was it like used for smugglers? Like... or something like that?
You do belong in the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best. Are we busting a whole, like, smuggling operation? But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Oh my god, I'm going to... Hold on, let me point out. Oh, that was good pointing out. Oh, really good pointing out. Yeah, I think there's some, like, smuggling operation or, like, underground tunnel leading to, like, a criminal enterprise down there or something. And that's how he came in. And left. Because, actually, yeah, he wouldn't have been able to get past... Right, he had to get out another way. So there has to be a secret passage behind that. That's what it has to be. That's what it this is what it has to be. Okay. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been as shown here. Now everything's in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we've found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh, dang! Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion.
Now then, Mr. Justice, please point to the new contradicting indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? Which indicator in this diagram can just run out the crime?
So yeah, now he can't see through the window, so that's what they're going for here. So 2 has to be K. K equals 2. This is algebra now. About this cupboard. Are we all okay with assuming it was moved? Sure, why not? I love that just lackadaisical attitude. It's like, yeah, sure, why not? Let's just assume. If it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the windows to the stairs. Ah! That's right, someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see in. And I guess the smuggling operation is probably why Phoenix was there, like a long-term surveillance. Someone! Like Mr. Gavin! What? What did you say? Oh? Is it the coolest defense in the West, losing his cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game till someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. Ellipses. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court. Exactly where do you witness the crime scene from? Excuse me, Your Honor.
Order! This is a court of law and I will have order!
We just now received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club. They've examined the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor.
And what do they find?
Well, Your Honor, it turns out there is a secret passage behind it. What?
What?
I called it. I actually called it. I'm feeling good. I don't always call, like, Ace Attorney. Usually I'm just like... There's usually a point, like, around the third or fourth case that I'm like, I don't understand what's going on, but sure. We'll accept this is just Ace Attorney logic. Nicely reasoned. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about. I do remember saying something about that now he mentions it. The secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in illegal's goings-on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So if the room has a secret passage, where does it go? We're gonna, like, zoom into it. The other side connects to the restaurant above. Oh, it's not for smugglers, it's just for, like, running away. Okay. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops. And enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. I was hoping it'd go down to, like, a cave or something. Like a smuggler's cave. Fine, it just goes outside. I guess that's still cool. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us to follow? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said I needed this trump card for the last hand. It just leads to the black market, yep. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for the few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Oh, Mr. Gavin. Come on, say something. Ellipses. Press the glasses.
Dare I ask what really happened that night?
I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with destiny. There he crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Ah! What? Why did you do that? Wait here, I'll get help. This Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage and into the hideout. We got full-on, like, articulated models and everything! The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside. He wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. It's really cleverly put together, it really is. He would have, of course, realised they need to destroy the evidence. A single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red. Ah! Amazing. So the red cards like somehow just got scattered all over the floor, but the blue cards were completely untouched. That just seems very strange. Alright.
Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly, truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
Ellipses. Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne!
Yark? Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant, he is hereby cleared of all suspicion.
Guac!
Believe when I say that I don't believe this is happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest. Immediately.
Objection!
Gavin says no. No need to apologise. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Do you just objection the judge? Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honour, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber will be taken in by such a low-grade parlour trick.
Excuse me?
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honour. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. I guess, like, we've not proven... I guess everything hinges on this card being genuine, right? Is there any, like, reason this card might not be genuine? Because we've not proven that. We've just literally gone into a courtroom and held up a card with a blood stain on it and been like, totally, you can trust us, Your Honour. This is part of the investigation. What he's done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney.
Illegal evidence?
Objection!
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason, at present, to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course. This bottle, for instance. A bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And also the missing card, I guess. Yeah, we still don't know who took that. Not just any fingerprints, am I right, Mr. Payne? Actually, yes! The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down. Ellipses. I seem to recall this being an issue earlier. The court on this case demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down. And that is to drink out of it, obviously. That is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honour. See how the court fish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. And I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation. Just like that. Just like what? Why would anyone grab a bottle upside down other than to gulp? They'll then trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Yeah, I mean, I'd do it like this. You know, you gotta just grab the bottle like this, go back round over the head, take a drink out of it. Easy. Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight. Phoenix. It would be hasty to deliver a verdict with unanswered questions indeed. Oh, Miss Justice. Mr. Gavin said that the court in this case demanded an explanation. Justice won't leave. Alright, what is the question we're actually trying to answer here? Right, the answer we're trying to get at is the bottle. Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. Whatever she has to explain why the fingerprints on the bottle are upside down. Okay. Why are they upside down? So by upside down, they mean that they've not grabbed the bottle like that. They've grabbed the bottle like this. Like as if you are going to hit someone with it. don't think we have anything on here that will... See, now it's so weird because now I'm not dragging my... I'm not dragging the cursor to... Can I just, like... I can use... Okay, I'm going to use WASD to move the hand around. That seems like a lot less fiddly. What about this one? This also includes the bottles. Could he just have grabbed the bottle from here to take downstairs? Because those are the same bottles. Like, he's clearly taken bottles out of this box. I mean, I can see you picking up a bottle either way like that, right? Maybe? I don't know. I don't know! Why are the fingerprints on the bottle upside down? I kind of want to present this. Just because we have the bottles down there, so like it's proof that he picked one up just to take downstairs. Yeah, and if it's almost empty and lying sideways, you can pick it up either way. But I mean, he wouldn't have touched this one, because I guess if that was knocked over in the struggle, he did say he didn't touch anything else other than the hat at the crime scene. So why would it have been lying sideways if it wasn't the struggle? Like, it feels like there's a lot of different reasons that you would pick up a bottle upside down, but what can we prove? And what's with the tape? Is that just to show that Phoenix doesn't have much money? I forgot about the tape. I mean, he did say that he takes up the bottle and put a card in it. But that probably wouldn't work. In terms of like being upside down. Like holding it like that, basically. Because if you're putting in a card in it, you're holding it the right way up, surely. I am uncertain what to present here. I'm gonna present this. Why is there snow on the piano, by the way? Surely that's bad for the piano. Are those icicles growing on Shady Smith as well? I'm gonna present this. But I'm not confident. I think it's right. It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that bottle on the floor next to your chair.
Excuse me, on the floor?
Yes, now reach down and pick it up. See, like, this is what I don't get. They're acting like having the fingerprints on there upside down is such a weird thing. That's why I was like... That's why I was just like, this can't be it. It can't just be, oh, he just picked up the bottle like that. But apparently that's it. Without getting out of your chair. I've thought too fast. True. See? You'd actually go to pick up the bottle by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Whoa! Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here. Playing piano, bottles of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times.
Wow, I can't believe it was that simple.
Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I mean, what? I don't understand. Don't people pick up their drinks like this? I don't understand. It's like, it's weird. I was drinking my usual juice then too. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed. Then you must have remembered. So you went and picked up one of the bottles from under the piano. And you switched the bottles. You took one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon.
Order, order, order! What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where is your proof? And that's where the card went. Yes. As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty.
Objection!
And that's the problem! I wouldn't be so sure about that. Ellipses! Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, you recall I requested an additional investigation? So he was also telling them to go look for a bottle that's got a card in it. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano at the Borscht Ball Club.
And here's one of the bottles in question.
Just one of them. And it happens to be the right one, maybe? What are you going to do? Dust that for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if anyone were on that but his.
Mr. Gavin probably wouldn't make such a novice mistake, true. That bottle won't bear a trace of anything.
Say, Apollo.
Yes?
Why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle?
But why?
Just humour me.
Mr. Wright.
That bottle will solve this case once and for all.
What?
That's the bottle. What else? What? Oh, hello. There we go. Alright. Whatever could be wrong with it. Let's have a look at the label. Is it definitely grape juice? Sure is. Mr. Wright's favourite drink. I can't see anything else weird and suspicious here. Oh, yep. See, no clues here. That's what it says. No clues here. In fact, wait. There we go. Hold on. Oh, there we go. No clues here whatsoever. Don't know what you're talking about. Alright, fine. It's the 5 of hearts. There's something inside the bottle! And amazingly, it fits. What's this? That card. It can't be! Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Is it Olga Orly? Our little swindling Devochka. That night I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the left hand. Yeah, surely you roll it up. Why is it so crumply? Then Smith searched him. But the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony? I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. I stuck a peek in it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Disposed where?
Yep, and the grape juice. Threw the card inside the bottle. And this is that very card! Wah! The 5 of hearts, this is the card. The bottles were swapped. And the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Oh, wait. It's time for the explosion. It's time for the explosion. No, not the lobster. Run, Mr. Pinch. You can get free. Ellipses. That is all. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright?
Revenge?
Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Ellipses. My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right? This is insane! What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone? I just want to prosecute!
I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Want us to wonder why he would do such a thing? He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
Not that we know of!
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add?
Alright, I think we're coming to the end of this case now. I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter.
About his victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveller. An odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright.
Yes?
7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch.
Even when you're not even a defense lawyer? Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer.
He was extremely talented, to be sure.
I needed two things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated. This courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo! And cords of steel! It's a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right. Mr. Wright! Our work lies ahead of us. And I, for one, am looking forward to it. Straight and true logic is exactly how I would describe Ace Attorney 1 to 3. Oh my god, yes. So true. This seems like a good time to announce a verdict.
The court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright,
not guilty. Confetti! Wait a minute. Wait, I need confetti. Hold on. Wait. Wait, no, I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready. Wait. Let's have some confetti. Woo! Happiness. Court is adjourned. Someone's got to clean all that up. There's one of the mod jobs here in chat. April 20th, 4:28 PM, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 3. Thanks, Apollo. You came through, just like I thought you would. Nice music. Oh, this definitely needs adding to the playlist. Very, like, tropical. I like it. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who called Mr. Gav the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... The gift. Yeah, the body language gift. So that is kind of the mechanic for this game, like where the other games have their kind of like cyclock things. That is kind of something that we'll be returning to in future cases. You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer, right. Today was full of questions without answers, mostly about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could he have had to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Oh, wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. Huh? That reminds me, I met the girl whose picture is in your locket. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you're right about this locket. Hey? I took this off his neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him. Wait, but that's stealing! So he did lie about something on the bench. You testified. You said the locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then why? Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside it? Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. Yeah, we have an overarching mystery in this game. You're still just getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo. Yes? How about coming to work for me? I can be your boss! At the Wright & Co. Law Offices. There's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but didn't you? You're not a... I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore. I replaced it with this awesome POG badge. That incident 7 years ago. That legendary trial. And at the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand at the court of law, I'm afraid. Did you notice in today's trial? There was a single piece of forged evidence. Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. So is this the card? Is this the Ace of Spades? Is that not the actual Ace of Spades? One piece of evidence struck me as odd, it's true. It just seemed too perfect. I'll bet this was the forged evidence. It's going to be the card, right? And that would be why Aunt Gavin got so angry at it. I think it's got to be that. The only other thing it could be, I guess, would be the Five of Hearts, but that's also not... that's not an option. Everything else was presented by Pain. So yeah, it's got to be the bloody Ace. Oh. Let's present with our... You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. That card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place, luckily for us. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud! Fraud? How can you be so sure? But he couldn't actually call it out as a proper fraud because that would make it obvious that he has the original. Yeah. They only took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. So we've presented forged evidence. So Apollo Justice, very first case, already not off to a great start. We've been compelled to present forged evidence. I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's called themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I punched him. Ellipses. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like. We can help you forge more evidence. Mr. Wright. Oh, about your uppercut? Try yelling, "Take that!" next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door. And that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved, and at the same time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd found that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. And this is how my story begins. And that's it for the first case. Yeah, we've got to practice those chords of steel. Very, very important. And we got an achievement for completion of episode 1.